Hey guys, Lindsay here. I know it's been a while since I've made a video. We had an illness in the family, and the family member with that illness has since passed away, and it was someone very close to us. So we took some time out of everything and just kind of focused on our family, and we haven't done a whole lot to the house since my last video. So that is the reason for no more videos lately and no house tour yet. But we do have the kitchen finished. We put in a water softener. We got the basement steps replaced, and we'll soon be starting a garage. That was a sacrifice we made. Is we bought a house with no garage, knowing that we could put one in the near future. So that was a sacrifice my husband made. We sacrificed a few other things in the house, like no central air, having to deal with laundry in the basement still. But I will tell you, a lot of these sacrifices ended up benefiting us. So instead of being a negative thing, they were positive. And we actually not only made these things work, they have saved us money. I kind of want to share some of that with you because I feel it'd be beneficial for somebody, especially someone that's moved into an older home or just looking for ways to save money. The first thing I noticed when we moved into this house was the trees. Now, even though it was winter when we moved in, I knew once these trees bloomed and we had leaves all over them, that we would have quite a bit of shade and with a lot of the house. And with the second story being kind of wide open to everything, and there are no other two-story houses directly, close to us, I was worried, how we were going to keep the upstairs cooled off. And the light coming in the windows is nice, though. When we want to have the light, we utilize the light most of the day. And right now, since we have longer days, not to give too much information, but I can use the bathroom upstairs well past 8 o'clock at night without turning the light on. So that's a plus. But these trees create quite a bit of shade. And for the windows that don't have trees shading them, we make sure we have light filtering or light blocking curtains. So that helps. It keeps it cool in here. Along with the utilization of the ceiling fans. The ceiling fans help to circulate the air, keep it from getting stale. And I was able to, for a while before we put in the window AC units, since we don't have central air, I was able to use the fan that pulls air from the basement and circulates it through the house. So it would blow it out of the vents, and then the ceiling fans would then circulate the air, and it stayed cool in the house for a while. Until it got above 75, around 75, 80 degrees outside. Our house was staying a cool 72, 73 degrees. So we were managing. We eventually went out and purchased 4 window AC units. We have 2 upstairs and we have 2 downstairs. The 4th one that went downstairs was actually just installed in this past week because we actually did not need it until it started getting up into the 90s. I do notice some days that it seems like there's maybe a few degrees different because we have a window at the top of the open area above the stairs. And there's a window there, and we have yet to get up there on a ladder to put a curtain there. The light coming in from it's nice that we can use it to light upstairs, but we really don't need it. So far, that's been helping. And our electric bill actually has gone down since installing these window units. When we left our old house, the last electric bill I paid, and this was our budget plan, was $162. That seems like a lot for the size of the house that we had. So we went from a house that was about just under 1,200 square foot. Yeah, 1,200 square foot house. And then we did have some living space made, in the basement. So we probably had closer to 1,300 square feet, I would guess. And now this house, minus the basement and the attic, We have 1,820 square feet, and our electric bill, after the first couple months, I was put on the budget plan, and it was $85 after the first 2 months. And then we have soon gone down to $56 on our budget plan. And our gas bill is now down to $30. Gas bill at the old house was over $100. So we also had to upgrade some things when we moved in. The electrical for this house. And remember, I said it was 1,820 square feet. And the electrical was still at 100 amp service. Now they had this like secondary electrical box upstairs, because at one point it was 2 apartments, but that all had to be upgraded because it wasn't done properly. So we had to have it upgraded to 200 amp service, and everything before we moved in had to be fixed. Outlets and things had to be upgraded and repaired. Now, most of that was paid for by the previous owners, and we just paid the remaining amount to have the box upgraded, which was not too much. Then I had mentioned that window lets in light, so we take advantage of the natural light that comes into this house. That really helps. I can do a lot of things in this house without turning lights on for most of the day, and my kids will sit around the house without lights on all day. They'll open their curtains to let light in until it gets too hot. Because of the way our house faces, we get light coming in for the majority of the day. The kids can have their windows up or their curtains open and have some light without the sun beaming down in them and creating a lot of heat, because the sun comes from the east side and their bedrooms are on the west side. And then when they're downstairs, they've got some of the overhang and the porch and everything shading, but they still get some light. And so that's very helpful. By not having to have lights on, we're not using a lot of electricity. I thought for sure we'd use more being in this big house, but with the openness of some of the rooms, it's really nice. We also like to utilize the main floor as much as possible and the porch, because we have a big wraparound porch, and we have this extra room down on the main floor, which we use as a den for the kids. So we try to utilize those spaces as much as possible. That way we don't have to have the air conditioners running a whole lot upstairs or have lights on upstairs. So that there's also helping, because the main floor obviously stays a little bit cooler than upstairs. And the kids don't mind. They like being down there. Today they've been up in their room cleaning, so they've been upstairs a little bit more, but they also don't use their overhead light. They use a lamp, or they open up their shade a little bit. The porch, to be honest with you, is my favorite room of the house. And it's not even in the house. It's on the outside. That's where I spend a lot of my afternoons and sometimes mornings. So it's nice because I'm outside and I'm not using electricity. I'm using sunlight, and being in the shade, if I get a breeze or something, it's really nice too. As far as like cooking, we switched to an electric range when we moved to this house. I found it used for $150, and it was barely used. And we don't use it a whole lot, but when we do use it, it's got all these nifty settings, so you really don't waste any power. And when I do use it, I like to take advantage of the super capacity in the oven and cook up a whole lot of food, and then we eat off of it for a few days. But we also try to use the grill. Now that the weather's nicer, we use the grill as much as possible, and I'll cook up as much as I can. For instance, 2 days ago, I cooked on the grill, and I made up a bunch of packets with veggies and chicken and stuff like that. And then I took the remaining chicken breasts, well, it's chicken thighs actually that I cooked, and I cooked the rest of those to use later in the week to have with other meals. And then it got mixed in with pasta and things like that. So grilling keeps us from heating up the house too much, which it's nice. Plus, we get to be outside. And then because we're starting to cook bigger meals and cook more at one time, cook to have for the rest of the week, we opted to buy a deep freeze, and we bought it used for like $75, and it's really bigger than what we thought it was when we originally went to buy it. And we had to, of course, put in a new outlet in the basement because there wasn't enough outlets down there, because it is an older home, and there was basically just the outlet for the washer and dryer, or for the dryer, because the dryer is electric. And so when we find good sales, we try to stock up on things and put things in there. So we've got some, I'll put pizzas in there. We don't eat a lot of pizza. And then we've got a lot of meat and things in there. We bought a big box of hamburgers, and I buy the ground beef, 3 pounds at a time. So, well, I'll buy maybe like 2 or 3 of the trays of 3 pounds. And we have some deer meat. And it's nice to have that for when you need to stock up for a party, which we had a couple parties in the last few months. My son graduated from high school, so we had his party, and a couple weeks before that, we had my daughter's birthday. So having that freezer to stock up was nice. And if we, like I said, if we find good sales on something, we can now stock up. And then if we have a busy weekend and we can't get out to go get groceries, or can't get to the town nearby that we go to get some of our groceries, then we have something to get us through the next few days. So that's actually been really helpful. And I now don't understand how, or why, for that matter, why we lived without a deep freeze before. Even though we had an extra fridge with a freezer on top, it still didn't hold near as much as this thing does. And we did move our mini fridge down beside the deep freeze as well. So we keep extra milk in there, and my husband keeps some of his drinks in there for work and, his downtime. So that's what's been going on here, and how we've been saving some money, and it's been great. And hopefully we'll have the rest of our projects done, and I can do a whole house tour, unless somebody wants a whole house tour before that. We still have a few more things we have to do downstairs before it actually looks more put together. I will tell you right now, I'm never going to have a Pinterest-worthy house. I'm probably not going to have a house that's going to be in a magazine, but we are feeling a lot more settled in. So I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all later. Bye.